On day 5 of NFL free agency, Joe Schoen made 2 more roster moves to add to this football team to try to make them better for the 2025 season. But I'm going to tell you why one of those roster moves was his best bang for your buck signing yet. I'm calling it a free agency steal, and I can't wait to dive into that. First, though, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because when news breaks, we get you guys a video no matter where we are and no matter what we are doing. It was my off day this week. When the Giants make moves, we make videos. So please go down, hit that big red sub button. Give us a week. If you don't like the show in a week, you can unsubscribe. I'm going to do my best to make sure, though, you stay the most up-to-date you can here on YouTube with the Giants. Let's start with this. The New York Giants are signing veteran defensive tackle Jeremiah Ledbetter to a 1-year contract worth $1.7 million. He can earn up to $2 million with incentives. The New York Giants are also signing special teamer Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles, who has played the last 4 years in his entire NFL career with the San Francisco 49ers. Plays linebacker, but more of a special teams guy. I want to start today's show talking about my guy Jeremiah Ledbetter, the defensive tackle who spent the last 4 years with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think was one of the most underrated moves in all of free agency, and probably the most for the Giants. He is 30.7 years old, so will be 31 during the NFL season. 6'3", 299 pounds, was a 6th-round pick by the Detroit Lions out of Arkansas back in the 2017 NFL Draft, and he had his best season yet in the NFL this year with the Jags. His PFF grade overall was 63, which is 65th out of 219 defensive tackles. 49.5 pass rush grade, 211th out of 219 defensive tackles. But his best trait, his ability to make plays in the run game, a 66.2 grade, 33rd amongst all defensive tackles, 219 of them falling into this category. Didn't play every single game as a starter. He's played 32 games over the last 2 years, 5 as a starter, played 17 games 2 years ago, 15 games this year, started 3 games this year, 2 games last year. I like that. I think with more workload as well, more production can come. 17 games 2 years ago, 15 games this year. He's able to be depended on. He's able to stay away from being injured and be healthy. And he is a very productive football player. Let's talk about it. 62 tackles over the last 2 years, 9 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 5 QB hits. Doesn't really jump off the page. But when you talk about advanced analytics and you look at some of these grades from Pro Football Focus, they're going to shock you. 23 stops just this past year. A stop is something that is a tackle that constitutes as a failure for the offense. 8 pressures, 2 QB hits, 4 hurries. Much better player in the run game. Of the 80 defensive tackles to have at least 196 snaps in the run game last year, he had the 17th best overall grade of 66.2. He had the 36th best number when it came to the amount of stops in the run game. We talked about 23 overall, 17 stops in the run game this year, 36th best. When you talk about his stop percentage, that was the 19th best amongst all defensive tackles. Had just a missed tackle rate of 5.1, which was the 12th best amongst that position group, and an average depth of tackle of 1.9 yards, 21st in the NFL. So 17th best overall grade, 36th best when it comes to total number of stops, 19th best when it comes to stop percentage, 12th best amongst his missed tackle percentage, and 21st amongst average depth of tackle. This is someone that I think with more opportunity and more responsibility, he could be a much better football player. If you go to my Twitter, @MarshallGreen_, I was able to dig up a highlight tape on Twitter. Not even really a highlight tape is the word. Actual film, all 22 film, where you're able to see him in his good and his bad reps. He's able to make plays at the line of scrimmage. And you would think it would be a little bit different with him only weighing 299 pounds. Not the biggest body on the defensive line, but I feel like he's got really good feet. I feel like he's able to stay really balanced, good punch point, able to shed blocks, and he's an athletic freak as well. He had a sack on Aaron Rodgers this year, and his sack celebration was him doing a backflip on the field. So this guy is athletic. He can make plays in the run game, but he does struggle in the pass game. Let's talk about that. Of the 93 defensive tackles to have at least 216 pass rush snaps, his grade, 91st. His pressure number, 87th. His sack number, 56, tie for 56. QB hits, 66th out of 93 qualified to defensive tackles. His QB hurries, 90th. It's the PRP, a formula I like to look at that combines sacks, hits, and hurries relative to how many times they rush the passer. 2.5 for him, 82nd, and his pass rush win rate just 2.5 as well. That is 88th. So a much better player versus the run than he is against the pass. And when you look at the Giants' defensive tackle room now, you look at guys like Dexter Lawrence, Raheem Nunez-Roches, DJ Davidson. You now have Roy Robertson-Harris, who you signed early on in free agency. You bring back Riley Jordan, Elijah Chapman, still have Elijah Garcia, Corey Durden, Ross Blacklock, and then Casey Rogers, practice squad guys. This defensive tackle room needed to be improved, and with the additions that they've made so far with Roy Robertson-Harris and now Jeremiah Ledbetter. I keep on messing that one up. Jeremiah Ledbetter. They got much better in that department. They had to. They were one of the worst teams in the National Football League against the run. I don't think this means that they don't need to draft a DT anymore, though, because I still don't see any of these people as long-term fits and starters on this football team at defensive tackle. I think Ledbetter's a guy that could play early on. You did sign Chauncey Golston, the edge rusher, an edge player more so, from the Dallas Cowboys. He can kick into defensive tackle on pass rushing plays, but I don't want him all the time on the field early on in downs. So I think having Ledbetter be your maybe first and second down guy as a rotational piece next to Dex, still go target one of these young guys in the NFL draft where it's a loaded draft class at DT, and you're then turning that position of weakness into a strength. So still need to draft a defensive tackle. I'd like to leave day 2 with one. You got 5 picks inside the top 105. So if you're able to do that with the additions of Roy Robertson-Harris and Jeremiah Ledbetter and Chauncey Golston, you definitely made an improved effort to get better on the defensive tackle room, which needed to be done this offseason. Another signing, don't want to spend too much time on it, Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles, the 28.5-year-old defensive special team specialist, better way to say it. He is a linebacker, but he doesn't play all that much on the defensive side of the ball. He's played 73 games in his NFL career, hasn't missed much time due to injuries. In the 73 games, he has 96 combined tackles. So that shows you he just doesn't play that much defense. He's played just 649 snaps in his career as a defender, dating over 5 NFL seasons. So not many snaps there, and his PFF grades aren't great either. 30.6 when it comes to defense. Run defense, 42.2. Tackling, 27.1. Pass rush, 59. This is a guy, when he does play defense, it's in the box. 127 snaps in the box throughout his career. But he's a special teamer, and that's where he gets a lot of work. Last year, 184 snaps on special teams in 12 games played for San Francisco, 1,435 snaps in his career in special teams. He's on kick return, kick coverage, punt return, punt coverage, even field goal block. No, not on the field goal team. Has not played any snaps in his career on that. So getting a guy that's going to compete to be a special teamer for you, that's a veteran minimum contract. He's had some success in his career as a special teamer, 76.6 grade PFF-wise this year. Last year, 56.5, 73.2 the year before that, 69 before that, nice, and 60.1. So Giants make 2 roster moves late on day 5 of NFL free agency. Jeremiah Ledbetter, the 30-year-old defensive tackle, who I think is going to surprise some people and show you the type of ability he possesses in the defensive tackle room as a run defender. Guys like now with Raheem Nunez-Roches and Roy Robertson-Harris, you're going to have 3 guys rotating at that DT2 spot. Neither of them are anybody I really love as pass rushers, so I still think getting a guy that you could develop and be a part of this team for a long time as a pass rusher still makes sense. So you sign a DT, sign a special teamer, still need to go out and draft one early on. If we get any more news or information, we'll get you guys a video on your way out. If you could please comment, like, and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it.